is W2FJH, bringing up the STNY Digital VoiceNet on Brandmeister Talk Group 31367, Wires X Room 83721, and live stream to Google Meet and YouTube. The primary purpose of the STNY Digital VoiceNet is to help foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York, and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. While this net is primarily for the southern tier, all stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. For more information about this net, please visit STNYDMR.net. This net will prioritize short-time, mobile, in-and-out, or emergency power stations. We currently do have 5 stations checked in through NetLogger, so the net would like to recognize N2BSS Jeff, W2 KDC Dennis, K3 BYC Carlton, N2 NCB Paul, and N3 OJP Mick. Alright, when checking in, please give your call sign, your name, and your location. So let's first take a standby for any stations that are short time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power. Please call now. Alright, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any station that would like to check into the STNY Digital VoiceNet this evening. Please call now. Okay, nothing heard there. I guess I did a good job rounding everybody up, but we'll give it one more go there in case somebody was trying to come through. Any additional stations that would like to check into the STNY Digital VoiceNet this evening, please call now.
KD2OFD, Kilo Delta 2, Oscar, Foxtrot Delta, Steve.
Alright, and we have KD2OFD, Steve. Alright, we'll kick things off. If there's any announcements for the net this evening, please call now. Alright, nothing heard there. I did have one quick announcement there. So I have been putting together, since the beginning of this year, I have been taking some of the live streams that we actually do for the Southern Tier Digital VoiceNet here, and I've been kind of cropping out all of the silences under the video, and I've been reposting them on YouTube as a podcast for the STNY Digital VoiceNet podcast. So give me some feedback. The link is on 7.3 as well. But also, if you are subscribed to the our YouTube page there, which if you're not subscribed, you can find the channel through STNYDMR.net. And give me some feedback, and let me know if that's good. In case you ever miss the net and you want to catch up on what was discussed, you can always check out the podcast. So, all right, moving on. If there's any questions for the net this evening, please call now. All right, nothing heard there either, so we will go in for comments. The net topic this evening, since we've been talking a few things about ham radio, I figured this would be a good time to have one of the fun topics. So the net topic this evening is, what decade of music was the best? Like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or early 2000s? So at the top of my list is N2BSS. Jeff, how was your week?
Yeah, W2FGH and the net N2BSS. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, everybody on the net. And how was my week? I think it was still cold, even though we had a couple of nice days in there. But we're just logging through winter. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, or as I like to say, he looked in the mirror and saw the shadow of the groundhog that he once used to be. He was once so young and vibrant, and but he just predicted 6 more weeks of winter depression. So anyway, psychological barrier today at sunset after 5:30 p.m. for the first time in a long time. And as I'm fond of saying, it keeps getting better from here. And one of these days, I'll actually get outside in warm enough weather and do some of the antenna projects that I'd like to do here. I did have a little bit of a setback today. I was wandering about the yard, and I realized I don't have a tree in a convenient location to serve as a center support for a dipole. So I might have to go back to what I was doing before, when I just had a G5 RV without a center support. And it was up for years before it fell down, and just might do that again. I don't know. We shall see. And as for music, let me grab a reset here. It's always hard to say what was the best decade. I've got Sirius XM in the car, and I do go on a long drive, so I listen to their decades channels. You got the 60s music, 70s music, of course, 80s, 90s, the double aughts, whatever. I kind of don't like anything modern. Let's ignore that. That That's just my convection oven in the background. I don't really like anything modern, but as I go back in time, I realize that these stations are just playing the good music that survived. Realizing full well that when I was alive back in that era, there was some music that was terrible. So for every good 70s music song I hear on the 70s channel, I remember some of the awful, awful stuff that used to make the airwaves. So I don't really have a preference to say which is the best decade. I just listen to the best of each decade. And again,
Thanks there, Jeff. And yeah, just by the way, you it's the same thing. I don't know what's going on with Brandmeister recently, but on the 3104, you cut out after you said the best of each decade, and it was a little glitchy after that. But I'll hand it back to you there. I think you were basically wrapping up there, anyways. But I'll send it back to you there for additional comments.
yeah, thanks, Frank. I didn't cheat and I didn't hear myself, so I didn't see myself. So I knew something got lost in there. I don't know what happened, but I said, yeah. So I ended up sticking to the best of the best of each decade. Bit of a cop-out answer, but it works. That way I get all the best of my favorites from each of those decades. And if I was to find the best of the best I don't know. I'm still kind of partial to whatever mood I'm in, be it 60s and wanting Beatles songs or whatnot. Anyway, I then went on to comment about shortwave listening, 5.05 megahertz, I believe, 9 p.m. to midnight. Radio Miami International, WRMI, does their Legends show, and they have a Facebook page where they take requests. I think they say they're shortwave's only request station, so give a listen, 5.05 megahertz, and get on their Facebook page and put in your request. There you go, N2BSS, back to net.
Hey, very good there, Jeff. And yep, you actually you hit the nail on the head on how I came up with this net topic this evening. I'd written it down, but I was actually flipping around through Sirius XM, and I'm like, oh, they have their 80s on 8, 90s on 9. I'm like, hey, that'd be a good net topic to say, hey, what's the best decade? And yeah, the cold kind of creeped up on us there, didn't it? My driveway is a sheet of ice, and you know, I didn't have any packages or anything coming today, so I'm like, you know what? Tomorrow is supposed to be like 44 degrees. I'll hopefully just let it all melt, and I won't have to throw down a whole bunch of rock salt and everything else. But yeah, it just kind of creeped up on me that the driveway is all frozen. So, all right, next on my list is W2KDC Dennis. How was your week?
Hi, Frank. Just for point of information, I'm on 3104 for Brandmeister tonight. My week was good. I started off on Monday with Monday morning, had my right cataract removed, and the week has gone on from there. I'm seeing much better out in my right eye without any corrective lens. So a week from tomorrow, I get the left eye done. That was it, my big thing for the week. Weather-wise, it's snowing like crazy here, and we have a winter storm warning for this evening and tonight into tomorrow morning. And then the weatherman says it's going to be a high of 51 tomorrow. So, really, really weird weather here. I'm just going to take a quick break and be right back. As far as the net topic, I'm going to, I guess, cop out a little bit too. Late 60s, early 70s. You know, you want to take a decade from 65 to 75, 74, 75. That is the perfect decade, in my humble opinion. That's my story on the net topic. And just as a quick comment, thank you for the fine work on the YouTube podcast. I listened for a few minutes to a couple of them yesterday. It's always interesting to hear how I sound and how my speech patterns come out. So being on the other end listening to what I'm saying is I find interesting. Plus it will be great on the occasion when I do miss. So thanks for doing that. You can keep it up, but great work. Really appreciate it. And that's my story for tonight. W2KDC. Back to you, Frank.
Hey, very good there, Dennis, and thank you for the kind words on the podcast there. I was trying to do a good job cropping everything out and making it nice, and this way, if somebody's driving down the road, or like you said, you got to catch up, or you're doing a trip, and hey, I got a 30-minute drive into work or something. Oh, I could just turn that on and catch up on what the net was about. All right, very good there. And yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're recovering well from the cataracts surgery there, and hopefully everything goes well, just as well next week, and you should be in good shape there. So, all right, and yeah, I do agree with we're also in a winter storm warning. I don't know how badly it's snowing out right now. It was moderately snowing when I came downstairs and was getting things ready for the net. But I guess we'll see when the net's over and I get back upstairs. Hopefully there's not a big accumulation outside. So, right, next on my list is K3BYC Carlton. How was your week?
This is K3BYC Carlton from Darlington, Maryland. Good evening, Frank. Thanks for taking that, and good evening to everyone who's checked in. Well, I've been most appreciative of the warmer temperatures we've had this week. This weekend was a little cooler. Looks like some rain coming up, some warmer temperatures. Maybe the week after we might get some snow episodes, but that's winter. For the net topic, well, of course, I keep Sirius XM programmed in my car, and I'm a retired school band director who's been involved in performance and a lot of listening to different styles over the years. But as far as what I listen to in the car, it tends to go from the 60s through maybe the late 80s. A lot of our boomer popular groups have been going, 50 years. Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And many of the original artists are still hanging in there and are still performing. That is great. So that's basically that's most of my personal listening. So sometimes professional listening, maybe a little bit of classical, maybe a little bit of jazz. But for personal, 60s through the 80s is my personal favorite. That's all I have for now. Everybody, stay safe, stay warm. This is K3BYC. Back to Net Control.
Hey, very good there, Carlton. Hopefully, this weekend we can kind of put aside as a colder weather, and I see we're supposed to get some warmer days ahead. So hopefully it's the same down your way. And also, just Dennis, I did want to mention, I forgot to mention, your last transmission that you came through, perfect signal on my end. You had 0% loss and everything else. You did sound great. So, all right, next on my list is N2NCB. Paul, how was your week?
Hello again, Frank and all, into NCB here. Most of the week was pretty good, and in fact, yesterday was the first day of the technician class, and we had over 40 students show up, and there's 10 of us doing the teaching, and so that was good. That was of all the classes that I've attended, this is by far the most, at least twice, if not more. And so there was, in fact, we had to get out some more chairs because we didn't set up enough chairs. So that's always good. And so that goes through till, March 15th is when we give the exam. So it'll be interesting on these following Saturdays, how things go. And let's see, today, I had to run an errand to get those clips to keep paintings that my grandmother had done. Some of the old style had fallen out, and I thought I had some, but yeah, with that wind, brutal. So we got that done. Yeah, we got some. I finally finished my book that I've been reading, and then watched some golf. So all in all, over the week, not a bad deal. And I didn't know about the YouTube, Frank, so I can't comment on that. And I have to say 60s through 80s. I'm simply starting in 60s because that, what was that, 63? Maybe 62. I bought my first 6-transistor radio. So I could listen to what I wanted to listen to. So that's how that starts. But that era is pretty good music as far as I'm concerned. Back to you, Frank. Take care, all into NCB.
Hey, thanks there, Paul. It sounds like you had a good day there, and yeah, it's very good to hear about the students coming in there. That seems like a large class, and that's really good. So, and yeah, I can always send you a link if you can't find it, but on STNY there's a link to our YouTube channel, and I believe there should be a little tab or something that says podcast, and there should only be one podcast. Let me know if you can't find it, and I'll send you a direct link so you can take a listen there. So, all right. Before I get to my next station, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital VoiceNet. I'm going to take a quick standby to see if there's any additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so we will continue on down the list to N30JP. Mick, how was your week?
Oh, good evening, Frank. Everybody on the net. It was pretty good. And by the way, I've got X7 vehicles too. Probably the 60s and 70s, kind of like what Dennis said. Mid-decade to mid-decade. But especially if my wife is in the car. But I prefer classical music. I usually have that on if I'm around the house or out in the garage. Let's see, yeah, big day with the groundhog. I watched that all on television. They really, one of the local cable channels, they start at 6 in the morning. It's a big event up there. I'm about 2 hours from Punxsutawney, but there is just massive amounts of people. So that's why we don't go. But yeah, temperatures all over the place. Not really getting any snow. I did get both vehicles finally vacuumed out and washed. Washed out the garage floor. It was full of that salt. Had to repair a downspout and a few other things. And a couple errands to run this week. Friday evenings we do FL Digi training here. And now we're starting to migrate over to WinLink because the repeater trustee put up a 440 gateway. So some of the guys are we're spending some time with WinLink. So I picked up, usually I use my Signal Link for the VHF, UHF radios. I bought one of them Digi rigs. Hooks up easy, but I'm getting that dreaded COM4 in use. And I can't get around it, so I said the heck with it. That was after wrestling with the Windows 10 machine and trying to connect the CPS to this Alinco here. And that wouldn't work either. So works on the Windows 7, but not on the 10. So I had enough fighting with the computers. It was mentioned WRMI. Yeah, that's out of Florida. You know, they also do shortwave radiogram. I think Dennis brought that up. Shortwave radiogram, that's on FL Digi. And they sent all kinds of stuff, some announcements, but they sent a lot of pictures. So if you're into FL Digi at all, look up shortwave radiogram. It comes out once a week, and they got broadcast various times from Thursday through Sunday. So yeah, that's on that WRMI. A couple other ones too. Okay, Frank, I'll turn it back to you. W2FJH and 30JP.
Hey, very good there, Mick. And yeah, the groundhog. You were mentioning the large amount of people, and I was telling Renee at some point I'd like to in a couple of years here when Lillian's a little older, we might maybe make our way down there just to see the celebration and see the groundhog and everything. I think it'd be nice. It's not too far away. So, and yes, about the DigiRig, I was actually going to see if Mal was going to be checking in this evening. But I did pick up DigiRig as well, and I picked up the cable for the FTM 500 radio I have, and so I might be getting a hold of you and Mal a little bit and seeing what we can actually do with that. I mean, I'm still a technician, so most of it's going to be on VHF, UHF, but it'd be interesting to see what other digital modes I can get over the airwaves there. So, all right, next on my list is KD2OFD. Steve, how was your week?
It was good. It was hectic and busy, but I'm making progress. I'm rebuilding my DMR program file, code plug. I haven't really touched it in about 3 years. I've been adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff. And just going through and getting rid of some dead talk groups, dead channels, and stuff like that. I just finished my Aries EC report, so I forwarded that up to the SEC. Got that done just a few minutes ago. Music-wise, late 70s, early 80s. I was a Chicago fan, a Bread fan, but that's my tape. So, but otherwise, that's about it. We had a great weekend field day a couple weekends ago. I know one of your guys came down to our Westchester, like a Zoom meeting. So, but we had a pretty decent turnout. Got some good points. Got a lot of contacts. So, that's about it. KD2OFD, back to net control.
Hey, very good there, Steve, and thanks. I think Ed's not on any 2W, but I did see an email that came my way, and I think the Bear Group also did pretty good at their winter field day. So it seems like a lot of people had a lot of fun that day. So, all right, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital VoiceNet. I have reached the end of my list. So let's see if there's any additional stations out there that would like to check in. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any additional stations or any stations that have checked in with additional comments, questions, or concerns. Please call now. All right, hearing nothing then, we might as well wrap things up here. I'd like to thank Jeff, Dennis, Carlton, Paul, Mick, and Steve for joining me this evening. We'll be returning this talk group back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week there. This is W2FJH, and I'll be listening.